You might think you know Darkseid, but here are 12 facts you may not have known about the Tiger Force at the core of all things. Darkseid first appeared in a cameo in 1970's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 134, written and drawn by Jack Kirby. His first appearance in full came a few months later in 1971's Forever People number 1, also written and drawn by Jack Kirby. The craggy appearance of Darkseid's face was inspired by actor Jack Palance, maybe best known today for playing Curly in City Slickers. Everything else about Darkseid, the fascism, the jackboots, the warmongering, and so on, was inspired by someone named Adolf Hitler. Doesn't ring a bell. Darkseid was born Prince Yuzaz, second in line for the throne of the planet Apocalypse, but he murdered his older brother Drax in order to steal the power of the Omega Force, which transformed him into the stony figure of Darkseid, who became ruler of Apocalypse after poisoning his own mother. Darkseid has two sons. The first, Kalibak, he had with Apocalyptian sorceress Sully, who was murdered by Darkseid's mother, who feared Sully was corrupting her son. His second son, Orion, was born from a forced marriage to Tigra. Orion was traded with Highfather of the planet New Genesis in a pact between the two planets, and Orion would go on to become a great hero of the gods of New Genesis. In exchange, Highfather sent his son, scot-free, to be raised on Apocalypse. In a major triumph of good over evil, Scott also grows up to be a hero, Mr. Miracle. Darkseid's main goal is to eliminate all free will from the universe and place himself in charge of everything. His main plan for attaining this goal is by finding the secret of the anti-life equation, which is a formula that grants its user complete control over the mind and spirit of all living beings. There have been several interpretations of what the anti-life equation is, but the most recent version is loneliness plus alienation plus fear plus despair plus self-worth divided by mockery divided by condemnation divided by misunderstanding times guilt times shame times failure times judgment, n equals y, where y equals hope and n equals folly, love equals lies, life equals death, self equals Darkseid. Don't try that one in algebra class. Darkseid possesses great power, but perhaps his most commonly used ability are his Omega Beams, energy blasts from his eyes that can disintegrate a foe, even erasing them from history, or resurrect the dead, or, with an effect called the Omega Sanction, send their target through time or a series of increasingly horrible alternate realities. As a tyrannical leader of Apocalypse, Darkseid has a number of sycophantic followers eager for his approval. These include the torturer Desaad, the orphanage-running Granny Goodness and her female furies, Assassin Kanto, the sniveling vermin Wunderbar, energy vampire Mantis, and anti-life evangelist Glorious Godfrey. Darkseid once invaded the island of Themyscira, home of Wonder Woman and the Amazons, in order to find the location of the gods of Olympus so that there would be no other gods besides him. Spoiler alert, she figured it out. Craggy-faced Marvel villain Thanos was greatly inspired by Darkseid. At first, he was meant to resemble another new god, Metron, but when editor Roy Thomas saw Jim Starlin's designs, he said, "If you're going to steal one of the new gods, at least rip off Darkseid, the really good one." Darkseid was the main villain of the 10th and final season of Smallville. However, he spends almost the entire season as a smoke monster instead of the more familiar comics version. He eventually gets a body, only to be destroyed in the series finale. I guess that's a spoiler, I don't know. You had many, many years to watch that show. That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Comics. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more comic facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comic awesomeness.